You're in the right place. Grab your surfboard, the water is ready, and let's dive in.
Hello, magic makers, and welcome to the first day of summer or winter if you're in the southern hemisphere, and the full moon in Sagittarius. It's a very, very profound cosmic and moon slash solar week for all of us. There's a lot of energy culminating today, and I'm excited to talk about it. This is for you if you're a sacred entrepreneur, a creator, an artist, a leader in your world, and you want to understand how this full moon is going to impact yourself and your leadership and your business and your marketing. So let's dive into it. So I have my beautiful cosmic timing imagery here, which is a template that everyone gets inside of my private programs and for all of you inside of this wonderful group. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, if you want to get this, the links are down below in my, you know where they are. They're down below. Just click. Okay, so here I have the true visible sky. For those of you that don't know, I am reading the true visible sky, which some people are like, what kind of astrology is that? It's just the sky. It's nature. It's the cosmos. It's what you can see with your own eyes without even a telescope. And so tonight, for those of you that don't have wild Saharan desert winds blowing in and obscuring the sky and the sun and the moon, like we have here in Croatia right now, you'll be able to see the full moon. And the full moon, if I zoom in here, is in Sagittarius, right in the the solar plexus, the power center of Sagittarius. And I really think of this is really the beginning of Sagittarius season, and or not Sagittarius season, but if it was Sagittarius season, it would be the beginning. But here it's really the beginning of Sagittarius, and it's a very powerful, initiatory, strong place for this full moon to be. And then in opposition, where the sun is at this point, is at the very beginning of Gemini. It's right at the feet of the first twin of Gemini, which is also in the hands of Orion. So technically, we talk about in the true sky that there's 13 constellations that go over the ecliptic, which is where the sun and the planets move, which are our zodiac constellations. And technically, we could even say that there's 15 of them because we have Orion here, and then we have Cetus over by Pisces and Aries. And so Orion's hand is very, very close to where the sun is. So there is a massive influence of Orion, which has obviously been very important throughout history, as many sacred sites have been aligned to Orion, including the pyramids of Giza. Okay, so what does this all mean? What is our interpretation of this? So, with the sun being in Sagittarius, right in the core, right in the solar plexus, in the power center of Sag, right in the abs, right in the, I like to think of it as in the six pack area of Sag, it is incredibly powerful, and it can feel like a very powerful day for us here. I'm leaving Europe tomorrow. It's been incredibly hot. There hasn't been this crazy heat wave. It's 40 degrees outside. Like there's power in the sun, in the level of energy that's happening here. And today's full moon is a very rare full moon in that there is a lunar standstill, as they call it, which means that the moon takes up the most space that it has in the sky as it rises and as it goes down, because it's at its most, I think it's northeastern part when it rises, and then it's its most northwestern part when it sets. So it's essentially, kind of at a standstill because it seems to be staying in the sky for the longest amount of time, and this hasn't happened for 18 years. So it's very powerful lunar energy that we're dealing with right now. And whenever the moon is in Sag, my moon is in Sag, so I'm quite familiar with this energy. We can feel this like burst and brightness of energy, this truly an energy from our core, especially for those of you that are generator types in human design. You might be feeling a response or more energy to do things or create things, or that it's now a new season as we transition seasons on the earthly plane from summer to winter, from to summer or into winter, depending on your hemisphere. you're going to be really feeling that intensity, that polarity of the sun, of it being either the longest day or the shortest day. And it's just a very, very potent energy to pay attention to. And given that Gemini is what's illuminating this sun along with Orion, that really influences this. And this is a lot of very interesting and dynamic and also sacred masculine energy, as Orion is considered, in the Egyptian tradition is considered Osiris, which is why the three pyramids of Giza are aligned to Orion's belts. And it's in every single like cultural teaching is the constellation of Orion, because it's so easy to spot in the night sky. It's a really great orientation point. In fact, you can't see it right now because it's obviously right next to the sun. And then there's Gemini energy. So there's really this energy of activating new thought forms, new ideas, new ways of communicating, new ways of taking action in your world, new inspiration, new passion that's pulling you forward, that's pushing you forward to create whatever that is in your community, in your family, in your life, in your business, in your marketing. Here we like to talk about our marketing. So here's some things for all of you to reflect on. So with all of this Sagittarius energy, Sagittarius is very expansive energy. It grows us, it shapes us, it has us learn, it has us meet new people and network and go to new places and really become a next evolution of ourselves. So where are you ready to expand and grow in your business and marketing? And really be honest with yourself, because you don't want to just be, having someone else's idea of success or expansion or where you should be or what it should look like. So where are you actually ready? Where are you willing? Where are you prepared? Where are you're here now and you know that you're itching for the next step. You're ready to expand and grow. You've kind of outgrown, right, old clothes or your old way of being or your old way of being in business and doing your own marketing. So where are you ready to expand and grow in your business and marketing? That is the big kind of expansive Sagittarian question to consider and to philosophize over, and maybe mull this over, talk it over, right? Sagittarius is all about philosophy and conversation and even laughter and having some fun, reflecting on this space of where you're ready to grow and expand so that your business can really grow from your marketing growing, because your business grows when your marketing is expanding and growing and serving your clients and speaking to them. So how does your business grow with this Gemini and Orion energy? Well, a lot of it with that Orion energy, it's about taking action, going after what you want, hunting it down, getting clear on what it is that you desire and saying, I'm going for that. I'm going to grow towards that. Right. So it does feel like very aligned masculine energy. And so the next question, and then of course, with Gemini energy, it's how do you communicate that? How do you speak that out? How do you fully express where you're at now, where you want to be, and how it is that you want to serve your people, right? You might be having big revelations and understanding of, oh, you might need to talk about yourself and your business and your gifts and your talents and your tools and your practices and your products and your results that you have for people in a whole new way. And so my question to you is, how can you communicate about your business authentically? How can you fully communicate about your business authentically? Now, this is, of course, in your content, in your copywriting, on your website, in your own YouTube videos, on your social media, through your emails, where you're communicating with your audience and with your people, with the public, with your clients. But this is also even when you're just talking to people day to day, when you're talking to extended family, even. How do you communicate authentically about what it is that you do and what it is that your business is here to create and provide for the world and for the people that it's here to touch and impact, right? How can you communicate about your business in an authentic way that isn't anyone else's, that isn't anyone else's formula of this is how you talk about business and this is how you sell and this is how you create content, right? I so see so many people just saying the same thing with a different font or a different color. And this is about, when you get clear on this is where you want to grow, that's authentic to where you want to go, to where your soul is calling you, to where your gifts are saying, this is mine to create, and this is for me to to really own. And so when you authentically communicate what it is that you provide and what it is that your clients will experience and the value that they receive, and that you really get it, that you get their experience and that you get where they want to go and you're willing to take them on that journey. And that's exactly what you're doing. You're not just willing, that's what you're here for in your sacred calling. Then there's this authenticity and this realness that will emerge from being for you to be able to communicate about your business in a more real way. And that'll happen with just people that you meet that are strangers, extended family. It's like it'll just be easier to express. And so, how can you communicate about your business fully authentically? What would this look like? What would need to change? What would be different about the way that you talk about your business, about your work, about your gifts, about your products and services and suite of tools, etc., that you offer to the world? And then lastly, with this beautiful Orion masculine energy, like I was mentioning, what aspect of the divine masculine does your business need to expand? So, in what aspect of divine masculine structured results, power focused energy? Of course, there's feminine power as well. But where does your business need to expand in this capacity? And just be really honest with yourself. It's not about getting, I would say it's not just about like wanting a quantum leap or running to really quickly skip timelines and get somewhere else. It's about, where do you authentically want to go? Where do you really need to grow? Where do you want to grow into? And then what structure and divine masculine boundary and container is required, and what needs to be expanded in that capacity in order for you to achieve that. Now, it might just be as simple as you getting more comfortable with receiving and being provided for by your business, by your clients, because you're providing a lot of value, a lot of service, right? So many of us want to give, and we do. And we give so much free content, and we give a lot of free sessions or talking in the DMs or communicating and building relationships, that we don't always realize that we're not as willing to receive opportunities and moments where we can engage with other people's audiences and build our own, and really connect with people and network and really and also grow and expand the way that we serve people, so that we can grow and expand our level of service and our level of sustainable income. So, what aspect of the divine masculine does your business need to expand? And feel into what this feels like. It might be money conversations, it might be more systems and more structures, more processes in place, more support to do your admin side, to do your accounting, so that you're not doing all of that on your own, right? Like some of us still have to do our taxes. um, Including me. And it's difficult when you do all of that yourself and you're also marketing your own business and also providing all of your goods and services and creating everything, and you're wearing all of the hats possible. Part of divine masculine expansion in your business might be getting support, building a team, even if they're just part-time, even if they're like trade teams, right? And you're giving them some sort of service or exchange in return for their support. So there's so many ways to do this, but it really is about like getting more structure, getting more support, feeling more held in your business overall. So let me know what you think about all of that and what these images evoke for you when you feel into this powerful time, this powerful shift in seasons, and this powerful full moon energy that we're all moving through right now. Okay, so next we're going to look at the true sidereal chart, which is the full astrological chart of everything else that's happening here. So you can see that the moon is right here at the beginning of Sagittarius, like was depicted before. And this is really in the second house as well. So that's also what really made me consider the fact that there is really like a growth, but it needs to be stable growth. It needs to feel steady. It needs to still feel practical and capable, right? I think of SMART goals that I learned about after I finished university in my first workplace. It's like, don't set a goal that feels unachievable to you. Set a goal that feels like a stretch, that feels like an expansion, feels like growth, might be out of your comfort zone, but it's not like you're going from 0 to 1 million. Right? If that's your goal, you might be disappointed where if you're going from 0 to 85K or 0 to 100K or 0 to 100 clients compared to 10,000 clients, right? Like making it practical and realistic and real can actually make it more tangible. And then from there, you can gain momentum and keep going. It's not to say that your dreams are impossible. It's to say to do things that you actually know in your body, in your soul, that in your nervous system as well, that you can achieve, that you can make that happen, that that feels doable, that feels real, that you can make it into reality. And when you know that something can become your reality, when you feel like it's destined to be so, it becomes inevitable. It becomes just a matter of time before that is true. And so let yourself be grounded in that energy, right? It's like growth with stability. And then there's all this potent Gemini energy. So the Sun, Venus, and Mercury are all in Gemini right now, and they're all in the eighth house opposing this full moon. And so this is very, very powerful energy when it comes to getting really in tune with what do you really care about right now? What do you really want to talk about? What's really on your heart? What's really in your soul? Right? Like deep down honesty, and sometimes even doing like deep excavation of your own mind, of your own belief systems, of the way that you think about yourself as a leader, as a business owner, as a provider, um, as someone who creates content and creates services and products. It's like really getting clear about your own conditioning and your own ideas and beliefs around business, and whether or not some of these are influenced by your own conditioning, by your upbringing, by your schooling, by your community, by the other people around you in your niche, in your same field of work and gifts, and getting underneath that so that you can get really honest with yourself about what are you really here to do and create right now, and what is the current phase of transformation that you are in. Because perhaps you're like me and you're going through a massive life change, because I'm 7 months pregnant now and I'm about to have my first baby. And the truth is that I have much less to share at this point for the public and for my own marketing, because I'm preparing for this life change and transformation as a mother. And that's just what's honest and true for me. And I actually feel like creating and working less, which feels like a very natural level of surrender and release. Right. And I had to be okay with that, because there's still a part of me that's conditioned as an entrepreneur to want to be always hustling and creating the new thing and creating content and always marketing and selling and getting new clients and, doing the whole game of it. And so it doesn't have to necessarily be that you get an answer that just means work more, do more, say more, create more, right? You might be getting something very, very honest with yourself, very honest with yourself, very honest with what do you really want to do right now? What do you have the energy for? What do you have the capacity for? What level of transformation can you actually withstand and hold? And how do you communicate that to your audience, to your team, to your clients? Because that level of transformation is likely going to bring about some shifts for them and for you, regardless of if it's, oh, it's time to expand, it's time to scale, it's time to scale down, it's actually time to step back, it's time to reinvent, right? Be really honest with yourself about what's happening now in this new season of life, especially if you're going into winter. You might really want to scale back and hibernate and reflect on and kind of like keep it kind of bare bones, or kind of just sustain what you've already been doing. And that's totally fine as long as it's your truth. It's about getting really honest with yourself and what you actually care to do, care to create, would love to create, and are passionate about expressing, but maybe feel afraid that that level of transformation or change might not bring you what you thought you wanted in business or what people might be expecting from you. And then all of this is interacting with Neptune in a really interesting way. It's creating what we call a T-square. And this Neptune energy is in Pisces. So Neptune has been in Pisces for quite some time, and it will continue to be there because it's really just near the beginning of Pisces. It's just about a quarter way through that constellation. And so this Neptune and Pisces energy is also about, again, being really honest about what it is that you truly dream of creating and expressing. And for those of you that are clairvoyants and psychics and intuitives and have a lot to say, it's about getting really honest with yourself about what is this next level of your own spiritual creation and journey and expression. Is there any level of performance that you're doing in that work that you feel like you have to or you're obligated to, but you don't actually feel intuitively called to speak out those messages? And maybe the time now is to actually lean into this. All of this energy kind of creates tension. And the way that it's released is through the opposite energy of Neptune, which is over here in Virgo in the 11th house. So it's actually about taking a step back, maybe making a plan, analyzing what's really going on, getting really in your body, taking care of your health, taking care of your well-being with your sleep and your food and your hydration and your fitness and your mental health, and taking care of your community and looking at how you can build more community, have more connection with neighbors and friends and family, and get physically around people and kind of connect people like human to human. And then once you're in your body and you're feeling good, there might be some really deep clarity that comes to you about, okay, what are you really meant to share? What are you really meant to put in the open air for people to know? Maybe a deeper truth, a deeper layer, a deeper expression of your intuitive gifts specifically, or your creativity or your artistry or your creation or your ability to make something for the world. But it has to come back in. It's like almost like you get more boundaried and you get more, I don't want to say in control of yourself, because it's not like you're out of control or like you're lacking, sovereignty or anything. It's more so that you actually feel more like stronger in yourself and even more sovereign, even more boundaried, even more clear about what you need to take care of yourself, and so that you can take care of the world at large rather than just continuing to go forward while maybe like letting yourself deteriorate. Like it's like you keep giving from a cup that you think is full, but your cup is actually running empty, but you just feel like your cup should always be full. So then you're not actually making sure to fill the cup. That makes sense. So it's, again, a lot of it is about being honest with yourself and going through a transition of what is it that you're really here to create right now, and letting yourself get into your body, getting into routine, getting into steadiness so that you can grow and expand in the way that's going to be most helpful for you and for the people that you're here to serve. And so some questions to ask yourself is, what would you most love to talk about to attract clients, right? Are you following some sort of formula or marketing strategy that doesn't actually feel authentic and real to you? Or are you not talking about what you actually would love to talk about and love to express or love to speak into, or or some area maybe you feel like no one else is doing it, so you maybe don't feel the permission or validation or whatever it might be. But what would you most love to talk about to attract clients, to bring the right people to you, right? What most fascinates you? That's something, that's that Venus Mercury energy in Gemini. It's all about like, what do you actually want to talk about? What are you passionate about? What do you need to say right now that's just like burning a hole in your chest? And you got to let it out. So that's one thing to really consider, is what actually needs to be said at this point, rather than just, oh, what would be strategic for you to say, or what would bring you more sales, or, what's in your launch plan. Getting into your heart first is what's important here. And then what are the real results you create with clients? And will you share them? And this is really interesting because I actually created this question based on like that tangible second house energy, that Virgo energy, but also this Mars trine that's also happening, and these sextiles that are occurring. And Mars is currently in Aries. And that Mars energy is like, it's about real movement, it's about real results, it's about true, real shifts. And sometimes the shifts that we create for people might not be obvious. We might not be very clear on what fully we're doing for people until we take a moment, right, in that Virgo energy to kind of analyze, sit back, look back, review, reevaluate, and analyze what it is that we are able to do for others, and even asking our clients and looking at where they were at when we first met them and where they're at now and what we've helped them achieve in a real, tangible, true sense. And so when you get clear on this, will you be willing to share it? Because this is the money, this is the gold, this is the real, true result that you create with people that they want to know about so they can be clear about what it is that you can guarantee for sure, without a shadow of a doubt, right? And then they can trust you if you say, hey, I can give this to you. I've done it for 20 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, and then they buy from you and then they get that. That's going to build trust. And then you get referrals and it just grows and snowballs from there. So it's about getting really clear on what are you really providing for people. And they can be intangible things, they can be emotional things, energetic things, spiritual things. They don't just have to be like, oh, before I had $20,000 in debt, now I have $20,000 in my bank account or in sales or whatever it might be. But just get real with what it is and with what those nuances are, and then be willing to share them as a part of your marketing and your expression. And then what is your intuition leading you to create and put into action next? Right? So it's this kind of this time, this moment to take a second to tune into yourself, to your divine feminine intuitive guidance, and to get clear on what do you actually want to create? What actions do you really need to do next in order to expand yourself, grow yourself as a leader, grow your business, support yourself, your health and wellness, your journey at this point in life, in this moment, not just in business, but in life. And what is your intuition leading you to create? And again, it might be counter to what your mind thinks should be going on, or what your plan was for Q3 or for the rest of the year, or whatever. Right. But it's like, trust your intuition, trust your gut, trust your body, especially for those of you that are into the human design experiment, trusting your inner authority above else, especially if you're splenic, or trusting that those intuitive hits and impulses that immediately tell you what is correct for you and where to go. So get clear with yourself about what you actually want to talk about, what you actually provide for people, and what your intuition is leading you to create and do next. So let me know what you think about all of this and what's coming up for you in your business and your creations. And I can't wait to be with you for the next full moon. All right, everybody, have an awesome full moon and enjoy this very profound time in cosmic space. Now it's time for me to get under the AC again because it's so hot. All right, have a beautiful evening, day, night, wherever you are.